Hello there, friends. Andrew Lang, a Scottish man of letters born in the 19th century, said, "Some people use statistics like a drunken uses the lamppost, more for support than for illumination." As a matter of fact, I was thinking that in this day and age, we tend sometimes to use PowerPoint presentations as a part of our speech, just like Andrew Lang's lamppost, more for support than illumination. Should we or should we not use PowerPoint presentations as a part of our formal speeches in public? And when I say a public speech, I mean a speech that you deliver to an audience of 1,000 people in an auditorium, in a committee room, in a board type of setting. And in this day and age of COVID, when you're using webinars to speak, do you use your PowerPoint presentations through the screen sharing mechanism? Now, I personally believe, and my answer is, please do not do so. That is my experience, that is my prescription. And if you must do it, with what caveats? The reason is that the whole idea of public speaking is to be able to connect with your audience. And when you connect with the audience, you connect through your eyes, you connect through not only your voice, but highs and lows, the pace, the volumes, even the illumination in the room has everything to do with how receptive your audience is. Knowing your audience, the whole idea is to get across your message to the audience who A, is receptive, who finds what you're saying has some value, and who is tuned into you. So where does that leave us when there are various points in terms of pie charts, in terms of data, in terms of tables, which we want to illustrate for what we are saying? I did a short course in Harvard on leadership, and I still remember one of the professors said, "Never a story without a statistic, and never a statistic without a story." Profound words. If you want to have statistics through PowerPoint, table of form, pie chart, do so, but tell a story behind it, story to illustrate it. And if there is a story, it should lead to some statistics. But now, to focus on what we are saying is, why do we really not want to have PowerPoint presentation? Many years ago, between 1992 to 1996, I was Deputy Commissioner cum District Magistrate in Amritsar, a border district in Punjab, India. Those were troubled times when militancy and terrorism were at the peak, at least in the beginning of the 90s. And we used to have a number of meetings at the level of the divisional commander in Amritsar, the corps commander in Jalandhar, and later in my seniority in a different context with the army commander at Chandimandir, which is next to Chandigarh. And whenever we had army generals making a presentation, and this is before the day and age of the PowerPoints, I used to find them having charts displayed. They would have a stick. The stick would point to the chart. Later, the sticks were replaced by those highlighter red light pointers. But never for a moment did the general take his eyes off the audience. The chart was there on the wall. The stick was pointing. He would say next, and the orderly would flip it over, or a young lieutenant or a captain would flip over the thing. But never did the general take his eyes off the people in the field, on the table. And that really set me thinking that if we want PowerPoint presentations, you actually wander. Your audience wanders. You got the PowerPoint presentation right on a laptop which is lying on your rostrum. You're looking at it. The audience is somewhere there, and the audience is looking at the PowerPoint presentation on the screen, and you are speaking. So neither are you focused on the audience, and nor for that matter, audience is focused on to you. So the basic objective of having a communication, that basic connect that you wanted to have, is lost because you have willy-nilly introduced a distraction, which you call as a PowerPoint presentation. So it kind of distracts and takes away the attention of the audience, even breaks your connect with the audience. So what do? My general point is that even if you need to have, there should be solitary and solo slides. There is a pie chart, you've spoken about it, leave it behind and say this is the statistic. There is a bar graph, you want to tell your audience about a trend, leave it there, it sinks in. Or at the beginning of your talk, you want to illustrate through a small video, play it for 2 minutes, you're over and done with it. But my general impression is that you should not rely upon a PowerPoint presentation where you are in an era and before an audience which is looking at oratory, which is looking at a speech, which is not looking at your PowerPoint presentation. You could email that to them. They want to see how you feel about it, how you connect, how you resonate. So therefore, general caveat, please avoid PowerPoint presentations if you can. But there are sometimes organizers, sometimes there are meetings of superior officers and officers, a Government of India meeting which a state government may need to present, and they say, please, we need to have a PowerPoint presentation. And generally, when all the states are there, the first one will start off with 36 slides. A very senior lady officer who was my boss when I was posted in Delhi gave me a very useful tip. She said, Mr. Sidhu, your presentations should follow the 7 by 7 by 7 rule. I said, ma'am, I've heard about the 24 by 7 rule, which really means that a civil servant is supposed to be on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But I'm afraid I have not heard before this 7 into 7 into 7, the prime number cube type of a rule. He says it's very simple. It's got to do with PowerPoint presentations. And this is a secret I'd like to share with you. I have not shared with anyone else till now. This is my trade secret, she said. A, the first 7. Your PowerPoint presentation should not be more than 7 slides. Make sense? The audience would be happy, the organizers would be happy, and you would have less stuff to deal with. B, there should not be more than 7 lines in one slide. And she says 7 is the upper limit. If you can restrict to 2 to 3, please do it. And correspondingly, the font size should go up to fill the space. And third, she said, each line should contain not more than 7 words. And that also, she said, is the upper limit. So I really caught that on to me. And what in Punjabi you say, ladbanli, gandbanli, I really clutched onto that idea that if at all you have to have a PowerPoint presentation, it should be a 7 by 7 by 7 PowerPoint presentation. Long ago, after I'd come to state of Punjab and the lady officer had retired, I ran into her in New Delhi's India International Center in the dining hall, and we got talking. I said, ma'am, among the various other things that you taught me was this great tip about PowerPoint presentations, the 7 by 7 by 7 rule. She didn't believe me. She said, well, that was my trade secret. Did I actually end up telling you? I said, ma'am, you did. And the essence of knowledge, Confucius said, is having to apply it. And in this day and age, if you permit, I will disseminate it. She'd been seeing my YouTubes and so on and other material which I keep on uploading on the social media. And she, of course, gave a big laugh and said, please go ahead and do it. So it's with the permission of that lady officer who obviously doesn't want to be named. I asked her. She doesn't want to take the credit. She's very recessive and taciturn and laconic, but very bright and intelligent, that I dedicate this 7 by 7 by 7 PowerPoint rule to her. But to conclude, if you must speak, speak directly. And at the beginning of the PowerPoint presentation, tell the audience that you will be leaving a link of the same with them, so that they don't kind of pay too much of attention to the PowerPoint. Never have your back towards your audience. Even if you must point out something, point it out with the fingers. Remember those army journals, because you have the PowerPoint presentation right in front of you. And as far as possible, don't take your eyes off the audience and the man or the lady that you're focusing in. So these, friends, were a few of the tips, a few of my suggestions which I wanted to share with you regarding PowerPoint presentations. Don't use them. If you use them sparingly. And even before you use them, please tell the audience this is not something which is ephemeral and is going to vanish. You will leave behind an internet link for the same. So thanks for joining. And if you think these little talks, which I am uploading now regularly, are of any use or value to you and your friends, please do not hesitate to comment, share, and subscribe. We'll be in touch. Have a great day or evening ahead. Bye for now and see you soon.